This is Free Talk Live. We're coming to you live tonight like we do every night, 365 days a year, whether it's Christmas, whether it's Thanksgiving. It doesn't matter to us because what's important to us is to talk about freedom and talk about liberty and talk about what's on your mind. You can find us at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Or you can hit us up on Discord. Discord is a very cool app. You can find more on that at discord.lrn.fm. You can call us that way, and you'll sound like you are right here in the studio with us. And the us in studio today is myself, Chris.
I'm Ian.
And we're talking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which I just like to say.
Really?
I don't know why that is.
You got a thing for her?
There might be a little something there. She's kind of cute.
Except on the inside.
Except on the inside and especially on the political side and the socialism side.
That's what I meant.
I can find 50 other things that I don't like about her. But apparently I'm not the only one. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has been slammed over an anti-Amazon push in New York City. This time it's a billboard which says, "Thanks for nothing."
So wait, this is her billboard?
No. This is a very prominent. Evidently, it's in this little spot of New York. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Times something.
Yeah,
Times Square.
Yeah.
Right. So a group has rented a very large billboard in Times Square.
Okay, I imagine you're going to explain why it is she's being slammed over a billboard that's not hers.
I will do. Well, the billboard itself is slamming her.
Oh,
that would be the
I
point.
see.
Yes, she's not too popular. Why she's not popular is she has successfully driven Amazon from building in Long Island City, which is right across the river from Manhattan, on the eastern side in Queens. They were only going to bring something like 25,000 jobs, and there was, in her mind, it was just a payout to the rich. And I understand that part of it, where Amazon is being offered, billions in bennies and stuff like that.
They don't have to pay taxes for X number of years, likely. It's one of those things.
That's exactly what it is. And
I guess.
I think the total that the people of New York were going to kick in was something like $2.5 billion. And the estimates were Amazon would bring in somewhere around $27.8 billion.
In what, tax revenue?
Tax revenue. So that's where it is. But a lot of people are upset that she kind of shot this down. In the end of the people there, they were like, what's important here was 25,000 jobs that are now going somewhere else. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is getting some negative reviews in her home city. Fresh off helping drive Amazon's planned headquarters of New York City, the rising Democrat star has inspired a billboard in Times Square. American pullout, thanks for nothing, AOC, the billboard located on 42nd Street.
American pullout or Amazon?
Amazon pullout.
Okay.
Located on 42nd Street near 8th Avenue reads.
So now, just to be clear, maybe I missed something. What exactly did she have to do with Amazon leaving New York?
She rallied her troops.
I see.
Rallied her social democrat followers and things like that to, we've got to oppose this. This is evil Amazon. They're a big corporation. We can't have big corporations in New York.
We only need the big corporation of the state of New York, because that's also a corporation. But nobody ever critiques on the left that particular corporation.
Right. And why would they? That's what they're looking for. They want the state to be stronger.
Sure. Well, it's their corporation, the one they want to run.
Right. That's exactly it. The High Visibility Blast is funded by Job Creators Network and will be up for all to see until next Wednesday. The Amazon pullout is a perfect example of what we've been saying. Socialism takes and capitalism creates. Alfredo Ortiz, JCN president and CEO, said in a release on Wednesday. Quote, the economic consequences of the HQ2 termination give America a small taste of the harm that is to come if Ocasio-Cortez's anti-business canon comes to fruition and is made federal policy.
Well, I mean, if you like business, then you probably shouldn't be in New York. I understand there's a lot of money there. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand the attraction of why businesses want to be in New York. You want to have your, Times Square studio if you're in radio or whatever, right?
Sure.
So I get it, but it's the least free state of all the 50 states by far.
Yes.
So, I mean, if freedom is even of a slight value to you, then you probably want to pursue whatever your business interests are elsewhere. There's plenty of other places, and almost all of them are better than New York, and New York City specifically.
Yeah, and a lot of the companies you see that are, with New York addresses, where are they actually domiciled? Delaware, Wyoming, you know what I mean? So,
sure.
So it has...
You mean the corporation? Where was the corporation formed?
The corporation itself.
Yeah.
But a lot of companies will talk about their New York... God, what was... I was trying to remember. It was a company I worked for. But we had a Fifth Avenue address. That was one room that corporation rented.
Uh-huh.
And it like had room for a receptionist.
Yeah.
And it had a conference room. That was it. There was nowhere for anybody to work. But, we were able to put on, the business card, Fifth Avenue.
And that
was a big
looks
deal.
fancy.
It does.
Yeah.
So maybe consider doing that, 855-450-FREE.
That's our toll-free number.
Yes, It is our toll-free number. That's how you can join the conversation and talk to us.
Do kids know what toll-free even means?
I don't know. I was thinking about that.
If you're under 18 or something like that, or 21, do you even know?
So here's my senior moment today. I was talking to a lady in Ohio, and we talked for a little bit.
We'll get to that story, hopefully.
Hopefully we will. But she had to run out, and she said, just give me a call back. And I called her back, and I got one of her employees.
Yeah.
And I said, if she wants, she can just call me back, and I gave her our business number. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, that would be a long-distance call for her. I'm like, is that even still a thing? Do people even still think about long distance?
Yeah, not so much anymore. I mean, though, if you still have a landline, those are still subject to a lot of the old phone system rules. Now, they're not as egregious as they once were,
right?
No doubt about it. And it's easier now to get, unlimited calling packages for those types of phones.
Right.
But
if you don't...
I still have a basic phone line in this studio that one of our codecs, which is our audio transmission method, is hooked up to as sort of like a backup. Okay. And I don't pay for any long-distance capability of that, so I've got like the basic $25 a month line. If it cannot dial long distance.
Oh, it doesn't even have the option.
Correct. You cannot dial outside of the 603 area code.
No kidding.
You can do toll-free, but that's it.
Interesting. So
probably 900s, but who does? I mean, do people do that? Somebody must know,
You're
right?
looking at me like, no, I'm sorry, dude, I don't.
That was back in your day, man.
It was. Man, took forever to get that phone bill paid off, too. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number, so you don't have to pay. That's 855-450-3733. Back to Ocasio. It comes after Ocasio-Cortez vigorously defended her role in sinking Amazon's move.
So she's claiming it. She's saying she had something to do with this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And a lot of people are crediting her with this. So she definitely did. Defending her role in sinking Amazon's move to New York City on Tuesday in the face of bipartisan criticism, claiming the deal would have been, quote, one of the biggest giveaways in state history, unquote. And would have priced
one of the biggest
people.
Giveaways.
Yes.
Does that mean they're giving away too much tax bonus, basically? Like giving too much to Amazon is what that is? Is that a critique of that?
Here's the critique. The critique is that Jeff Bezos is the most wealthy person in the world.
I've heard that.
Wealthiest by far.
Congratulations.
He's ahead of Bill Gates, ahead of Warren Buffett.
He's earned it. I mean, he's really changed how things get delivered and products are ordered.
How we shop, how we review items. There's so many innovations that have come from Amazon. But you've given him something worth money, and he's a billionaire, so he doesn't need it. In her mind, we are taking food out of the mouths of the poor
what you did was
Jeff Bezos.
You took food out of the mouths of the people who would have gotten the jobs in New York.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to get those jobs somewhere.
Oh, they will. And a lot of those jobs are going to go to the Northern Virginia area, and I don't know if they're going to do another one. Again, 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. Give us a call and let This is Free Talk Live. And if you'd like to join us, if you'd like to let us know what's on your mind, if you have comments or questions or thoughts on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez facing a huge billboard on Times Square, give us a call. And it's
now, who's behind the billboard? I don't know if you mentioned that earlier.
I did. Let me get the organization's name again. It is Job Creators Network. And this billboard will be up all week. Well, excuse me, it'll be up until next Wednesday. So not this Wednesday.
I wonder what that costs. I wonder what it costs to have a billboard for a week in Times Square.
A lot?
Yeah, I bet it does.
I would assume that's got to be some pretty expensive stuff. And they show a picture of it here in the story, and it's not small. It shows, you can see some other, like the sign for Ripley's Believe It or Not is behind it. And it looks like it's something like twice as large as that. So,
I wonder if there are small billboards you can even get on Times Square. I mean, I imagine the real estate there is fairly big for everybody.
I would imagine. And she's been very critical of Amazon going to New York, and for New York offering Amazon $2.5 billion to move there in tax credits and things like that. The argument one would make is, well, they're coming there and they're creating 25,000-ish new jobs. That number, sometimes it's way off. You know, sometimes they talk about the 25,000 new jobs and it turns out that's only during the construction phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it drops down to 32. But in this case, it seemed to be pretty clear. I mean, Amazon is certainly a growing company, and they're not going anywhere soon, and they're going to need, as they continue to expand, they've got 20? We're 25 years? I'm trying to think of how long we've been dealing with Amazon.
Yeah, it seems like at least 20. Late 90s, maybe to mid-90s.
Mid-90s, I think. They were one of the very, very first online stores back when they sold books.
Well, you have to wonder, when it comes to big corporations, they all have a certain top-out size, right? There's only so large, it seems like, that they can get before they become particularly susceptible to competition. Or they just become so inefficient because of their size.
Right.
So is Amazon nearing that point? Are they not even halfway there yet? Like, how much bigger can they get? We know they just acquired Whole Foods a couple of years ago.
Right. They bought Nest, which was another big deal.
No, I think Google bought that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Blink.
Yes, Blink.
That's what Amazon bought.
Right.
Which is kind of like another competitor to that. Obviously, they're humongous as far as internet delivery is concerned. So, I mean, they're all over the place there with warehouses in a bunch of different countries. I mean, obviously, they can expand that division. They're huge online with their file sharing services and their not file sharing, but also their hosting. Amazon hosting the government. There's a whole article at The Intercept recently about how Jeff Bezos is all upset about somebody sharing a picture of his junk on the internet, but yet he's investing in all this privacy invading technology, and he hosts the CIA and he hosts the Department of Homeland Security and all 17 agencies or whatever on Amazon Cloud Services or EC2 or whatever it's called.
Sure.
So I mean they are pretty darn big, and now they're also getting into that. There's that experimental store that they have that they're now expanding into a few different markets, apparently, where you can go in, you show your Amazon app on your phone to get in. There's like a turnstile or something, and it blocks you to get in until you show that you're an Amazon customer already. Then you can go in, pick up stuff, put it in a basket or put it in your pockets or whatever, and walk out.
Right. Very cool. All done with RFID.
Right.
And yeah, it's super cool. Amazon's got a couple other things.
Well, there's talk about those going to like thousands of stores.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's another potential area of expansion, is even more real life shopping.
Regarding their cloud services and their online computing, when Amazon first showed a profit, I can't remember, it was 2015, 2016, somewhere in there, they had one blip where Amazon showed a profit, but that was all in growth in the EC2 platform and their cloud computing. So they were an early pioneer there. The big news in the last few days has been Rivian, which is another electric vehicle company. that is, a lot of people are saying could really displace Tesla completely.
Really?
And Jeff Bezos.
Have you looked into this Rivian group, or are you just kind of aware that they exist?
I'm aware that they exist, but I'm seeing tons and tons of headlines, and they're going after the pickup and the SUV sort of thing. They're
because that's been exempted from the whole hybrid world, hasn't it? For the most part, like pickups and such. I mean, they exist, but
they do. But again, how practical can they be?
Yeah.
And Rivian is kind of taking a completely different look at it. What is interesting about it is Jeff Bezos sitting back with his big fat. They have a war chest that I think they said was. It can't be $250 billion. It may be $250 billion.
Who does? Amazon?
Amazon in cash, ready to invest.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge amount, and they're looking at Rivian as a potential next play for Amazon. So that could be huge. So I think they've got a lot of room to grow and a lot of things they can do.
What are some of the Amazon failures? Of course, they also had the home thing. What is it? Alexa? They've got that. That's huge. Those things are popping up everywhere. The little speakers, the smart speakers. Those are huge. So they're getting their actual hardware devices inside people's homes. What are some of the Amazon failures? I mean, what are the big bombs that they've done? Because if you look at like a company like Apple, they've thrown a bunch of stuff up against a wall, and some of it just failed miserably. I mean, a lot of people probably forget the failures, but they're there. Coming to mind, just there was the Apple Newton, which was like a real early. You're laughing.
I am.
Right?
That thing was an embarrassment.
It failed miserably.
Right. You had Microsoft Zune. You know, that was another one. That was going to be the iPod killer.
And I can think of Google failures, Google programs that have been shut down. Of course, they're shutting down Google Plus as we speak.
Yeah.
Which, major failure. They tried to compete with Facebook. So, like, I don't know. Right off the bat, I can't think of what has Amazon really botched up. They must have done it. It's just I wasn't aware of it.
I'll throw you a few.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, there was something called the Fire Phone.
Okay.
So the Kindle Fire, they were going to put this all in a phone-size package and do it that way.
All right.
You can't find those for sale anymore. They did another one called Destinations. That one, and I'm going off a list here from thestreet.com. Destinations was sort of going to be a travel website.
Okay. So that one didn't go anywhere, huh?
That failed.
Gotcha.
Poorly. They wanted to do a local deal sort of thing like Living Social or Groupon.
Okay.
That one was called, let's see, Amazon Local. That one never panned out.
Didn't get off the ground.
Yeah, but they've had their share. You know?
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, it's not like
so minor. I didn't even hear of them.
Right, but I had heard of some of those, and it just means that they're not afraid to invest. Yeah. And another thing is people are all busting on because Amazon. The other big Amazon story this week was they paid no federal income tax.
The customers pay all the taxes.
Right, but on their corporate profits, they didn't pay any income tax.
Sweet.
We'll talk about that when we get back. It's an interesting story, and I can pull that one up, too.
All right.
We're going to get back, and we're going to talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her humongous billboard in Times Square. And what are we going to do about that? Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
This is Free Talk Live. And we're live tonight like we're live every night. You can reach us toll free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And before we go any further, I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. Bitcoin.com can help you choose a Bitcoin wallet, buy Bitcoin, and show you where you can spend your Bitcoin. You can also read news, engage with the community on the Bitcoin forum, and you can learn more at Bitcoin.com. I hit that occasionally. And they've got some really good tutorials. I don't know if you've ever been through any of their new user tutorials.
I went through the Academy specifically.
Yeah,
the very beginning.
The email.
What a total new person would go through.
Right. I don't
recall anything about an email though. It was like just a page-by-page introduction to Bitcoin.
I don't know if they still do it, but there was also sort of if you sign up, we'll send you one email a day sort of thing, which was kind of cool.
The site's exhaustive. There's a lot of content there.
There certainly is. And we've been talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez taking a bunch of guff and what the people who paid for this wonderful billboard on Times Square. Its title says, Amazon Pullout, 25,000 lost New York City jobs, $4 billion in lost wages, $12 billion in lost economic activity for New York. Thanks for nothing, AOC. Brought to you by Job Creators Network. And they give their website, and underneath they put hashtag socialism takes. Capitalism creates.
This is an expensive, ad campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically just a messaging campaign. It's just basically them saying, hey, New York, you really screwed this one up. You just lost all these potential jobs. You lost all this economic activity.
Right.
And now you got nothing. Somebody else is going to get that. And we're willing to pay, this group is willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars, likely, for a 1-week time frame to try to knock some sense into New Yorkers' heads. It seems futile to me.
It does to me, too.
I sure as hell wouldn't spend money in New York City on a messaging campaign like that. I mean, that's just like throwing money down a rat hole.
They also listen to everything coming out of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's mouth during the campaign and still elected her.
Yeah.
I mean, so what do you expect? But right now we are going to go to the phones. We've got Tom in New Hampshire wants to talk about Congressman Omar.
Congressman Omar. I don't know who that is.
Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, Donald Trump called her Congressman Omar, too, by the way.
Oh, did I say Congressman?
Omar. Yeah,
I'm
called
prone
her up
to
a
do
couple
things
days
like
ago,
that.
called up her office to share some quotes that might help her when she's got to speak in her own defense about what happened. She tweeted some stuff about how the reason all these politicians support the state of Israel, it's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Right.
She's a congresswoman from Minnesota. Okay, so I called her up and told her, here's a couple of.
Is
quotes
this the Muslim
from
lady?
Congressman Ron
Yes.
Paul.
Okay.
The Muslim woman, the first congresswoman ever to wear a hijab in the House of Representatives.
All right.
Here's a quote. Quote number one. Quote, being falsely accused of anti-Semitism and being a supporter of radical fascism is not an enviable position for any politician. Most realize it is best to be quiet and support our Middle East involvement, unquote. That's Congressman Ron Paul from the Congressional Record of September 7, 2006, page H6361. And the second one from Congressman Ron Paul, quote, at the very least, the U.S. Congress should not be loudly proclaiming its support for the Israeli government's actions in Gaza, unquote. That's January 9, 2009, page H98.
We'll trust you if you've sourced all these. Go ahead.
Well, it's you can look it up online, too. You can pull up the congressional records for those. But then, you can call up congressional offices, and you can usually get through. Yesterday, the lines were...
Yeah, but you don't get through to the rep.
Did you talk to Congresswoman Omar?
In New Hampshire, you get through to state legislature, state representatives.
Right. But you were talking about a woman who is a U.S. representative, right? I just want to be clear.
Right. You don't get to talk to those people. You get to talk to the staff.
So it's basically useless.
And so today, and plus, you call them up and talk about something that's got nothing to do with that particular controversy.
What was the point of reading the quotes from Ron Paul? I must have missed that. What does that have to do with calling this woman's office in Minnesota?
I'm calling her office in Washington, D.C. about she's being accused of being anti-Semitic.
Oh, okay.
Because she won't blindly follow, support the state of Israel, and she accuses says that the reason that other members support the State of Israel is because of the influence of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, and it's all about the Benjamin baby. So today I called up to talk about something else. If you're getting one call after another about the same thing, here's something refreshing. I said the staffer that the Congresswoman needs to file legislation to repeal the National Minimum Drinking Age Act and the District of Columbia underage drinking laws.
That's a great idea.
On President's Day, Congresswoman Omar tweeted a quote from President Lincoln, quote, "Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves, and under a just God they cannot long retain it," unquote.
It's a good quote.
And I pointed
Too
out
bad he was such an a-hole.
Yeah, well,
and he didn't follow that.
He had a couple good quotes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was able to point out that look who's denying freedom to others. Like Minnesota State Senate President James Metzen got busted for drunk driving on May 22nd, 2007.
Nice, the State Senate President.
The State Senate President James Metzen. Oh yeah,
it was his turn to drive. They take
were
turns,
all drunk.
Right? Flip a coin.
Congressman Kevin Brady of Texas. He was the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what you're pointing out here, Tom, is that these people who would deign to be your betters, that want you to believe that they're somehow morally superior because they want to tell you how to live your life,
right,
that these people are also out there driving S-faced.
Right, and they do it. I mean, it's you can't go 3 days without hearing about a lawmaker breaking a law, and you know that they're going to get off. You know that they're not going to face the full extent of the law, but you know you will if you were to do the same thing.
And in a lot of cases, they're breaking the very laws that they themselves wanted to put into place. That the ones that are anti-gay get caught in the bathroom playing footsie with
prostitution,
somebody next to them, that kind of thing. The guys that are anti-drug and anti-prostitution get busted, snorting crank off a hunting knife while with a prostitute in a hotel room. I mean, it's crazy.
It's pathetic. And Tom, thank you for the call.
I'm still not sure what Ron Paul was all about there. I don't
know, but I like to hear Ron Paul quotes. So,
sure, yeah.
Hey, what the heck?
I heard he had a really good new speech too that I missed out on.
Really?
At Anarchapulco.
You missed out on it?
I missed out on it.
Where were you?
I was outside the speaking area. I was in the hallway, just kind of talking to people or whatever.
So the one everybody's talking about, the one they say was the speech of the century.
Is that what they're saying about it?
Oh, I'm just telling
I have no
you.
idea.
I'm just messing with you. 855-450-FREE if you would like to take part in our conversation, and that is our toll-free number. And we've been talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the billboard, which is lambasting her in Times Square every day. It's kind of hard to miss, but as Ian said, you're preaching to the broken already. I mean, they've already elected her, and I will wager they're probably getting a lot of support. Meaning Ocasio-Cortez. Mm-hmm. I'll bet a lot of people are saying, you shouldn't pick on her, and
she's.
Jeff Bezos doesn't need our money.
Right, she's against those evil corporations.
Right, those evil corporations pay people's paychecks, and they bring lots of money to town. But oh well. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live. This is Free Talk Live, where we're live every night. We're talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and a big billboard that's kind of calling her out for some of her anti-business practices. And the we in studio right now is Chris.
And Ian.
And I want to tell you about ForkFest. ForkFest 2019. Can you believe it? 2019. When was the first ForkFest?
This will be number 3.
Number 3. Nice.
2 years ago.
Excellent. Did you miss ForkFest 2018? We'll start planning now to attend ForkFest 2019. Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians next summer from June 13th until June 18th for Forkfest 2019 at Rogers Campgrounds in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Forkfest is a fork of another camping party in the woods, and you're invited to come along and create whatever experience you'd like to have. Forkfest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. So it's up to you to create what happens, or you can simply relax and go camping with other Liberty lovers. For more information and connect to other Forkfesters via the unofficial Telegram chat in the Forkfest forum, or visit forkfest.party. Forkfest.party. That sounds like fun.
I'm going.
Are you going?
Yep.
I had a feeling you might. It would be really fun. If I didn't own a small business, I could do really fun things. In 4 years, I haven't really done a really fun thing. I'd like to one of these days.
Man, you can always close down for a week or something like that if you need to.
Could we?
Of course, then you'll have a bunch of T-shirt orders backed up. Or you could hire somebody to pack shirts for you and process the orders.
Oh, see, that's where I just get really cheap.
Yeah.
My only goal starting a small business was this. I do not want a single employee ever.
I heard you, man. So do a contractor then.
I should. Maybe we'll do that this summer. And I'd love to get to Forkfest. That would be absolutely incredible. As it always is. And I'd really like to. There's just a lot of friends. You know, there's a lot of people I see online, and I'm like, man, I should really go. But we've been talking about AOC and this billboard, and the billboard again reads, Amazon pull out, 25,000 lost New York City jobs, $4 billion in lost wages, $12 billion in lost economic activity for New York. Thanks for nothing, AOC. Brought to you by the Job Creators Network. And then down below, in addition to their website, it says hashtag socialism takes, capitalism creates.
Just look at Venezuela. If you need any proof that socialism takes, it has taken away any semblance of wealth that those people have.
It's taken lives.
It is absolutely taken lives of children as well, because you can't even get, not only is it hard to get basic food items in Venezuela, it's also hard apparently to get basic medical items. So you need some, antibiotics for your little kid that's got some sort of, malady.
Yeah.
They might die from it because you can't get the antibiotics.
I read a headline and I didn't follow the whole story. But evidently Venezuela is sending a caravan, their own caravan, to Colombia to receive some gifts, some donations for their people. So it's being organized in Venezuela to move down to Colombia. Folks, when you look to Colombia as your salvation, I mean, then you're in hard straits because Colombia isn't much better off.
Right.
So it's a rough time down there, and yes, it's due to socialism.
Yeah, there was a story that I have not yet pulled up, but I saw the headline for it. Apparently, Maduro is going to be closing down the border with Brazil.
Why not? Just isolate yourself further. That makes perfect sense.
Well, we can't let anybody out, That's the real concern. They're not worried about Brazilians coming into Venezuela. Nobody wants to go into Venezuela who's, sane at this point.
No. But we have to make at least New York City. We've got to make that more like Venezuela.
They're working on it.
We want it to be the gem of the socialist world, and that's what they're looking for. Quote, no, it's not possible that I can come to any different conclusion. The debate must be over my intelligence and understanding instead of the merits of the deal, unquote. That is from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The freshman Democrat New York Congresswoman has faced days of criticism from normally friendly media voices and fellow Democrats over her role in Amazon's decision to pull back from building a $2.5 billion campus.
So even other Democrats are telling her she's gone too far.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I know. That could have been the whole story in itself. In their decision to pull back from building a $2.5 billion campus in the Long Island City neighborhood of Queens. Another tweet from AOC. There was little in the fuzzy proposal that guaranteed jobs for actual New Yorkers. Yet
the
lots of
fuzzy
hard
proposal.
Yet lots of hard concessions from the public. Queens.
The public. Okay, so you always have to remember that these are political code words.
Yes.
So when she says the public, and this isn't just a critique of Ocasio-Cortez. This is a critique of anyone in government. So Republican, Democrat, whatever. Whenever they talk about the public, they don't mean you. Read the statement one more time that she said, if you don't mind.
There was little in the fuzzy proposal that guarantees jobs for the actual New Yorkers, yet lots of hard concessions from the public.
So she actually used two terms in there, New Yorkers. So she's talking about actual New Yorkers.
Right.
And then the public. So those are two separate concepts. Okay, the New Yorkers are the people who are the victims here. They're the ones who don't get the jobs.
Right.
They're the ones who have this woman supposedly representing them in what is called the public. The public is code for government.
Yes.
So whenever you see public spoken by a so-called government servant or whatever, these so-called public servants, the reality is they're serving the government. They're not your servant.
Right.
They're there serving the state. They're serving themselves on the behest of the state, serving to protect the state apparatus itself, this mega corporation.
Yes.
That they're not going to talk about that corporation and how it's humongous. And the only corporation in the case of New York State, plus the federal government, but the corporations that actually get to use violent force. Because I don't have to shop with Amazon. I can still walk down the street and I can go or get on my bike or get in a car and go shopping in a variety of other places, from mom and pops to big brick stores. I don't have to use Amazon, and Amazon cannot point a gun at my face and force me to use their services. But the government absolutely can, and it would be willing to hurt you over it.
When Amazon talks about drones, they're talking about delivering things to you.
That you ordered.
They're not talking about bombing you and killing you.
Well, that's true. However, Amazon, again, not perfect. Sure. They're not as evil as the government, but certainly when they team up with the government, they become as evil as the government.
And this is true because
they could absolutely turn their drone network into a observation network for the government. If they had some sort of contract with the CIA or whatever, it could certainly be used for that case.
That takes vigilance, and if necessary, 12-gauge shotgun shells to counter said proposed Amazon threat.
Sure.
Which could certainly occur. Let's see what else AOC has to say.
But I think it's important to keep that in mind. If she or anybody else is saying the public gave concessions,
right,
she means the government gave them tax breaks or tax concessions or whatever. The people didn't do that.
No.
The New Yorkers themselves, who are not in government, the ones who believe they're being represented by these people, you didn't have a voice at the table. You didn't have any kind of input into this. Your vote was not input into this because when you voted for Ocasio-Cortez or against her or whatever, this wasn't, the issue at the time.
Of course not.
You didn't know exactly what her position would be on this, and a lot of the time when you're voting for somebody, it's not because of one thing or another, it's simply because you don't think they're the worst candidate.
Oh, she pretty much ran on this. I mean, she has run on being anti-business, anti-big business, because they are all evil,
but
whether
that doesn't
it's Google,
mean that,
Amazon, any of them.
But still, even if that's true, it doesn't mean that that's the reason she was voted for. Some people may have voted for her for that reason, but others may have voted for her because she's attractive physically. Others may have voted for her because she is in favor of criminal justice reform.
Sure.
So, she's not wrong on every issue. Right. And for somebody who wants to see criminal justice reform and they don't really care so much what happens to business, that's the reason they voted. So you never know the reason why somebody casts a vote for you unless they tell you.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
One more tweet from her. Folks handling the failed deal treated community with condescension, and disdain for their legitimate concerns. I warned early to any and all surging New York costs.
Look, if the community's concerned, they shouldn't get the jobs. Just don't go get those jobs. Go work at McDonald's or something.
It's always an alternative. We'll be back 8:55, 450 free.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.Global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.Global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at anypay.global. That's anypay.global.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. And we are entering hour number 2 of our 3-hour-long broadcast, which you can catch on the radio or on the internet. What are we on? We're on up close to 200 stations now.
Yeah, getting there. Slowly.
Slowly. It's been a long slog.
You gain some, you lose a few.
You do.
It's just how it is.
So
if we'd kept our affiliate list the way most radio shows do, which is where they just add stations and they never remove them.
So we'd be up to like 36,000. Oh, yeah.
We'd be at 400.
400?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But our honest count has it somewhere between 190 and 200 or something like that.
It's 194 or somewhere around there right now.
Yeah, Ian gets to keep track of all that stuff.
I do.
So fun for him. But it is kind of cool to do, and I just like to see when it pops up. I also like to watch where the show is on Talkers Magazine's Heavy 100. That's always a big thing for me because I wasn't even in talk radio, but I knew about
the Heavy 100?
Heavy 100,
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Because other talk radio shows would brag about their position on it.
I see.
And it's nice to see us up on, we're on page 2, and that's pretty good. So in the top 50.
Top 20, top 30. We're number 27 last count.
27, that is great. And they basically rate those for the most important in their mind talk radio shows.
And it's kind of a nebulous
it is.
Set of criteria.
But
it's just the editors sitting around, cobbling together a list, basically.
What do you think? Who do you like? What I like about it is, what I really like is if you look at the entire list, you are not going to find a lot of liberty-oriented programming.
No, I don't like that at all. I wish there were more shows like ours, but
I do too.
Unfortunately, we're all there is for syndicated libertarian talk radio. Like, as far as real libertarians are concerned. I mean, there are other hosts out there who like to bandy about the term, such as, say, Glenn Beck or Larry Elder.
Oh, great libertarians.
No,
they're not. But they do like to talk about their libertarian position on a particular topic, and that's not what libertarian is. Libertarianism is basically it's more of a philosophy, and it is adopting it to your total life, and that means you respect people.
Yeah, it's the non-aggression principle. I mean, this is a preschool level kind of concept that we're talking about here. This is not complicated, but yet people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and these Republicans and these people in Washington D.C., they just don't understand it, or maybe they never understood it. Maybe they never liked it. Maybe when they were in school, they liked bullying people.
Maybe.
Or maybe they got bullied and then they wanted to turn it around on other people and get them back. Go after all their neighbors instead of just the ones that did them wrong. That kind of thing.
Some people associate success with control. I'm in charge, therefore I must be successful.
Well, let's get into your next story about people who want to control others, specifically what businesses can be called.
Exactly.
Which rings close to our hearts here in Keene, New Hampshire, having just become victorious. We meaning, I'm going to say we because I think to some extent all of us were involved together in this.
We had a hand.
In the Pho Keene Great story that is about a pho noodle soup company that has yet to actually open its doors here in Keene, New Hampshire, but went viral on the internet and in mainstream media just, about 2 months ago, I guess, just under 2 months ago. It was right around the turn of the year, and the owner of that restaurant, or the owners of that restaurant, were vindicated, and the city government that was threatening them over their supposedly offensive name, they backed down. And looks like they're on track to open up. They got their sign hanging out now, very proudly.
Looks good. We drove by it tonight just to take a look. We hadn't seen it yet.
And even Penn Jillette has now jumped on board with Pho Keene Great, which is, again, the restaurant's name.
That was so sweet.
And he got a T-shirt from you guys over at Route 101 Local Goods here in Keene. Now, he didn't physically come in to buy the shirt.
No, I wish.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, because he's from this area.
He's from Greenfield, Massachusetts, which is what, an hour, less than an hour southwest of here. Basically, It's very, very close, straight shot down Interstate 91. And so I guess he sent somebody in, or somebody came in who was going to ship it to Penn. Is that what happened?
It's a kid that works for Penn and Teller in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
He's from out here, and he called his dad up and said, "Oh, these guys were rolling at the store, and they were wondering if you could swing by and pick up a couple of shirts to ship to us." So we were a little skeptical, too.
So a couple shirts. So maybe his wife got one, too.
There were a total, the order was for 3.
3 of them.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So those got shipped out, and I was really happy to see that tweet. I love that stuff. But I'll tell you, another business person who has not been real happy lately was a lady I talked to this morning. Her name is Dawn Moon.
Okay.
Probably not a household name yet, but she may be too, because evidently the city of Sandusky, Ohio, has a problem with her business name. This sounds real close. Dawn Moon has spent the last decade dreaming of opening her own salon after getting licensed as a nail technician. But just as her dream is starting to come true, Moon's storefront in Sandusky, Ohio, is causing some controversy because of its suggestive name, Hand Jobs, Nails, and Spa. Quote, "This is an idea I've had for 10 years, Moon tells Yahoo Lifestyle."
So this is open, just to be clear? This business is... Sorry, I might have missed that.
Yeah, I don't know. She is trying to open up. She's trying to get her sign up.
Because I saw a picture in the article, and it looked like there was a sign up on.
There is a sign, but I think she's still trying to get everything kind of. That was the impression I got talking to her today. Moon's storefront in Sandusky, Ohio, is causing some controversy because of its suggestive name, Hand Jobs, Nails, and Spa. "This is an idea I've had for 10 years, Moon tells Yahoo Lifestyle of the name of her salon. Quote, "It's a play on words, but really, it's exactly what we do as nail techs. Hands.
Right, yeah.
Hands."
You can't order a nail job with a happy ending there, can you?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
But although Moon believes that the name of the salon is rather logical, others have mixed opinions, some of which they've shared on social media. Quote, "What the hell are people thinking?" Unquote, one person wrote, while another said, "Take it down. I cannot believe Perkins allowed you to use that name. Offensive!" Exclamation
Wait, who
point.
was Perkins? Is that the name of the town?
It may be, or it may be somebody involved in it.
Okay.
Maybe a landlord, or maybe Perkins is in the same, I don't know. All of the attention, however, it's simply being viewed as free publicity for the owner and the many people who support her. Quote, "The talk about the sign started almost immediately. Within 24 hours, we had massive social media attention," unquote, she says. "Honestly, we've had way more positive feedback and a ton of support and very few who don't like it." Unquote.
It is Perkins Township.
There you go.
Yeah, so the town of Perkins.
Yep. The reaction from those who are fans of the idea include a number of other local businesses who have openly shared their support for Moon in response to a Facebook post asking if people are offended.
That's nice to hear. I'm glad to hear that other business owners have actually come out in favor of this person, because in a lot of cases, business owners, they didn't get into business to fight the government. They didn't get into to whatever it is they're doing because they wanted to go up against the man.
Right.
They wanted to do whatever it was their calling was for business. Maybe it's doing, somebody's nails, or maybe it's cleaning pools or taking out the garbage, or whatever it is that excites them, whatever it is that they think they can make money at. That's why they got into business. Most of them, they just want to go along to get along. They want to pay whatever taxes and fees, and they don't want the government, they don't want to stir up the beast that is the government to have them target them. And so the fact that there are actually business owners in this town that are willing to come out on the record in favor of this woman's business, that's pretty impressive. I'm glad to hear that.
And we saw it here in Keene, New Hampshire with Keene. Great.
That's right.
It was the exact same way, and
that's true.
We're the only place where you could buy the official gear, but I can tell you, day one, I had 5-6 small business owners that came in saying, "Hey, I own this business. I support exactly what she's doing, and they need to get out of the way and let people hire people and make money. What do you think? You can call us up at 855-450-FREE and let us know. Free Talk Live.
Hey, there goes some packets.
It happens from time to time.
Yeah.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number, and that's how you can interact with us. The us in studio today is myself, Chris.
And Ian.
And that's not the only way. You can go to discord.lrn.fm and load the Discord app. Discord is a superb way to interact with the show, interact with other people who are listening, and we've got a bunch of different, chat channels over there. So you can do text chat, you can do voice chat, or you can go into one of our live call-in rooms and you can hit us up and we can put you on the air. It's a whole lot of fun. That's discord.lrn.fm. And we've been talking about this potential business that's trying to get past some sign ordinances in Sandusky, Ohio.
Hand jobs
is the name of the business.
That's the name of the business. It's a nail salon.
It is, and I'm looking at...
Wait, you get your mind out of the gutter, dear listener. What were you thinking?
What were you thinking of? Nails, it's hand jobs, nails, and spa.
Yeah, clearly.
They work with hands. It's their job to work on women's hands.
They do a job,
They do a job.
Yeah.
And well, I talked to the lady today, and she's very nice. The owner's name is Dawn.
Okay.
Sweet girl. She just wants to get this place opened up. But you have local politicians that are saying, well, we're not sure about your sign, and we need...
Not sure. It's already up.
It is already up, but...
So wait, they approved it previously? Or did they put up a sign without permission?
I think they put it up without permission.
Awesome.
Which
now
is good for
love.
them. Right. But city business, that's what they do. They're going to come back and say, you have to pay us X amount of dollars for a sign application. Even then, we may not let you do it. As we talked about previously, they're getting a lot of support from small businesses, which is really good to hear. And we saw the same thing here with Fa Keen. Great.
It's actually referenced in this Fox News story. I'm just kind of looking at one of the stories about this, and Fox, at the very end of the story about the nail salon, actually references Fa Keen, great, and links to that story. It says, this isn't the first time a shop has faced backlash over having a cheeky name. In January, Fa Keen, great restaurant in New Hampshire, was called offensive and accused of violating terms of its lease with the city.
Yes. And as I talked to Dawn Moon today, the owner of Hand Jobs Nails and Spa, she was very familiar with the Fa Keen great story.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so she was, and I explained sort of our role in all that, and so it was just a really nice conversation. In the meantime, Moon is fulfilling requests for merchandise after a few people have suggested she make shirts with the salon's name on them. We're in the process of making a design now, she says. So maybe she may benefit from the same sort of thing that the Fa restaurant did. Mm-hmm. If government is coming down on you, and she realizes, and in talking to her, she's going to incur legal fees. She's going to incur filing fees.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be sign permit costs, and the worst thing possible is that this delays her plans. And she has employees that she's, probably bringing on board, and people aren't going to sit around and not take paychecks for a long time while you're trying to get in business. They will find another place to work, and that's kind of where it's at. But right now, we're going to go to the phones. We've got Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Sarah, aren't you outraged about what's happening to this poor nail salon owner?
She's just trying to open a small business.
I am more outraged about the sheriff from our 6 counties refusing to follow our new state law.
What's the new law he's refusing to follow?
First of all, what's the new law?
the gun control law. We passed 3 gun control laws, taking guns away from domestic violence, and these sheriffs are refusing to enforce it. And,
okay, good for them.
And another thing is what they're saying is that buying guns, you have to pass a stricter restrictions to buy guns.
Yep. Hold on.
Wait, what?
Hold on.
Who's saying that? You said they're saying that. Who's saying that?
Okay, the new state law is supposed to, so that when you purchase a gun, you have to prove all things.
All things? Prove all things. This is
prove all of the things.
The guns belong to the family, and then they just give it to a cousin. I'm not going to go. The sheriffs are saying I'm not going to go there and check them out.
I don't think anybody's asking you to, are they? You play no role in this whole process, correct, Sarah?
She voted.
You play no role in this whatsoever. This is between two people that want to. No, seriously, they want to sell a gun. Say it's a cousin to some other cousin. They want to sell a gun from one person to another. That doesn't involve you at all, correct?
Well, it does involve me because I care, because these the so-called law, our governor signed it. It passed through the House. It passed through the Senate. That's the legal procedure. Now it becomes a state law.
See, that shows that she cares.
There is.
Because that's what you do when you care, is you threaten your neighbors.
There is another law that comes into play, Sarah, and don't forget this one. This is a little civics lesson. But do you know what the most powerful law, the one law that supersedes all other laws in the United States is? There's one law.
What?
The U.S. Constitution. It is through supremacy. If in doubt on any law, whether it is constitutional or not, you have to look at the Constitution. And in the case of the Second Amendment, which protects people's guns rights, it says shall not be infringed. So that's the battle you're up against, Sarah. I also question whether these things are going to do anything. The first thing you described was, let me see, what was the first law you talked about that was passed?
Domestic
violence, right. So this is called a red flag law. If anything has occurred, if anybody reports you for any reason, we think that guy is dangerous, and I know he's got a gun, so I'm going to call the cops. With very, very little proof in almost every time these laws have been enacted, a jealous or a spiteful ex can just call up the cops and get a SWAT team sent to your house to seize your guns, even if you are not a threat, even if you've never said anything threatening. A very, very low burden of proof. And where this really comes into play was, I'm going to tell you 2 cases. One is when a man was shot in Washington State because somebody used this, basically a red flag law against him. The cops busted down the doors and shot him. He had never done anything. He had no record whatsoever.
No, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Is that how it goes,
That's how you
Ian?
see. You didn't. She cares about people, Chris. What do you know? You don't care about people.
What's going to be really interesting is when the first police officer doing his job gets shot going to serve one of these warrants, and I'm not sure that hasn't happened already. We're going to research that, and I think it may have happened already. But, Sarah, thank you so much for the call. And we'll be back. We've got some other things to talk about at Free Talk Live, 855-450.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. if you'd like to take part in the conversation. And we've been, like every show, we're always around the board a few times. It's one topic. We talked about AOC and
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Thank you. You just like saying it as much as I do. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Well, you got to be careful using, acronyms because maybe somebody doesn't know that. I didn't know when people were first throwing around AOC. I mean, I don't pay attention to politics that close, so I didn't know what they were talking about.
Ian, everyone knows who AOC is.
I don't think so.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I'm glad about that. I'm glad more people are not following her, are not listening to her. So if you're one of those people who is not following Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you're making my job easier because I don't have to explain to you why capitalism is a better system than communism, or in her words, social democracy. So that's she drives me nuts. But she's always good for a story. We also talked about a business that's trying to start up in Sandusky, Ohio, trying to start a nail salon. And their name is getting some guff from local bureaucrats who were saying that the name Handjobs, Nails, and Spa is offensive.
Now, I'm curious. I don't know what I forget where you said your story was from, but do they have quotes from these bureaucrats? Are the bureaucrats themselves?
Not. This was from a Yahoo lifestyle story, and we were trying to find some other. I did find
like some kind of local source for this from Ohio,
and there is a very short.
Where was it?
Story.
Peabody, something like that. I forget.
Perkins.
That's what it was. I didn't have it in front of me.
Yeah,
my computer's been going insane. So
it's like Perkins Township, and I'm sure they've got a zoning board or whoever is in charge of enforcing their sign ordinance. And they're kind of throwing a fit about this. Unfortunately, as we discussed in the last segment, small businesses seem to be behind it. People on social media seem to be behind them, and it's good.
I don't think a lot of people really want to see their neighbor's business crushed by the state. I don't think they want to see that. I don't think they would. Well, they're competition in a lot of cases.
And there are busybodies.
Yeah, and busybodies. Absolutely. So those people are out there, but it seems like the majority of people are very, very sane on issues like this. They may still acknowledge, we still need the government to do some kind of regulations because that's what we need government for, because government can tell us what to do, and it should, but it shouldn't tell this person to do this.
Right.
So they can see how ridiculous the government is being in these occasions, whether it be the Keen great story or this particular story about Handjobs Nail Salon. It's clear that this is a violation of the free speech, the creativity, the expression of this business owner, and it's clear to people about that. The numbers in the Keen great story were strongly overwhelming in favor of the restaurant and not in favor of the city government.
Yeah, Facebook polls in the thousands in support of and in the tens for those who found it offensive. And people they're kind of used to this sort of thing. I mean, I don't want to talk about too much about the desensitizing of this generation, but people watch The Simpsons. People watch TV that has much worse things and much more potentially offensive things implied. This is coming to us from a13abc.com, which is a local station, I guess, out in Ohio. Nail salon to appeal zoning board decision on controversial name. Perkins Township, Ohio, from WTVG. The Perkins County Zoning Board has said it will not approve a local nail salon's sign bearing the controversial name of the company. In a post to the salon's Facebook.
But it appears to be up, by the way. The sign, there's video, there's still photos that this woman appears to have gone ahead and put the sign up anyway, which I think is awesome. I wish more business owners would not ask for permission to do
it.
the basic things that they need to do to promote themselves on their own property, mind you. I did find a quote here, Chris, from Cleveland 19. This is Megan Sherland. She's the Perkins Township zoning director.
Oh, good.
And she says the sign outside the business, we'll get to the actual quote here in a moment, this could be a problem. She says the township has received some complaints about the name, and now she's going to review it. Quote, I have to take into consideration the entire feel and community of Perkins Township.
Well, thank God she's there. I mean, otherwise, how would the people of Perkins Township have any idea what their community feels like if it weren't for Megan to tell them what it feels like?
And what does that mean exactly, to take into consideration the entire feel and community? How will you know what the entire feel and community of Perkins Township thinks or believes at any given moment? And
Ian, if you need to ask, then it's best left in the hands of
a professional.
People like Megan Sherland.
She's got a degree.
Oh, I bet she does. I bet she does.
Because, look, there have been plenty of times when these bureaucrats, and I'm not just talking about Perkins Township, but just generally, these town zoning bureaucrats, city council people, town selectmen, or whatever it is they call them wherever you live, these people, they love to use terminology like this, but when it comes down to it, they do whatever's convenient for them and whatever's politically convenient for their buddies. I mean, the Bearcat situation here in Keene, of course, is a perfect example of this, where overwhelmingly 90+%, no joke, 90+%, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, 90+% of the people of Keene, New Hampshire were against the proposed Bearcat, which is a militarized police armored personnel carrier, basically.
Yeah.
With gun ports and the amount for a 50 cal and a deadly
launchers.
Gas injection wand that it can stick through a front door and all kinds of terrifying things. The people said no, and they said no loudly via petition. They said no by packing the city hall, by calling their so-called city councilors. The city councilors who were interviewed about this were the ones who said that upwards of 90% of the contacts they received were against the Bearcat. But what'd they do? They voted for it.
Of course.
13-3 or whatever it was. 13-2 or something like that. I think it was 13-2. Maybe
crazy.
12-3.
Well, this story has a little bit from Megan.
So I don't buy it. I don't buy that Ms. Sherland is doing anything for anybody besides herself and whoever it is that she's friends with.
Yeah, in this article, Dawn says, quote, you don't want something that people can't remember or that you can't pronounce or say, unquote, says Moon.
Perkins Nail Salon. Could just be really boring.
Exactly. That's exciting. Mm-hmm. People will think breakfast food while I get my nails done. Great. So she decided quite literally to go back to the basics. Quote, if you go in and get your nose done, it's called a nose job,
That's
right?
True.
Well, you come in and get your hands done, it's a hand job. It made perfect business sense to Moon. The name would be Hand Jobs Salon. And she goes on to discuss, but not everyone in Perkins Township in Sandusky is excited and supportive of the name.
There's some prudes out there. Let's hear from them.
There have been complaints to the local zoning board.
Mm-hmm. I bet none of the complaining parties are willing to go and talk about it to the media.
Probably not.
Because they're not in these stories.
No, they're not.
It's just someone saying that happened.
But Megan Sherland, she appears again.
Yep.
Perkins Township zoning director, and says that there have been some complaints. Quote, signs should not be text or graphics.
Huh?
Signs should not be text or graphics, not be indecent or obscene in nature. This is a quote from Sherland.
Signs should not be text or graphics?
That's exactly what it says. Quote, we have no stance on other than we have to take into consideration the entire feel and community of Perkins Township.
Right, yeah, I read that.
She does not spell well either.
What?
We'll talk more about this and get some of your calls.
How can a sign be anything but text or graphics? More coming up here. It is Free Talk Live in moments. What?
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. is our toll-free number if you'd like to call up and join in the conversation. That's 855-450-3733, or you can hit us up on Discord at discord.lrn.fm. Be sure to load up the Discord app first, which you can find at discord.com, I'm pretty sure.
No, I believe it's discordapp.com.
discordapp.com.
You're always better off going through the Play Store and or the Apple Store to find these things.
Yep, if you're on a mobile device, otherwise if you're on a PC, because there is a Discord app for pretty much every platform.
That's true. Or Googling, because a lot of times you want to be careful on the internet that you're not on the wrong website.
If you're Googling hand jobs, Sandusky, Ohio, which we've been discussing, for example.
Was it Sandusky? I thought it was Perkins.
Perkins Township
near there?
In Sandusky.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a good point. But discord.lrn.fm, and I don't know if you knew it, but hey, you can actually watch us too.
That's true.
On our
Twitch.
We've got cameras in here, and we've always had a YouTube feed that's always been going on. But now,
well, since you've been here, it wasn't always YouTube. Back in the day, we had a Stickam feed, we had a Ustream feed, we had a live stream feed. So we've kind of been through
every feed possible.
Yeah.
My favorite was when you had the court reporter in here who would sketch the goings on, and then
that
just
was a long time ago.
Exactly. But Twitch is a lot of fun too, because there are chat rooms there. You can talk with other fans, and you can find that at twitch.lrn.fm.
I'm actually sorry I haven't been able to monitor the Twitch chat room tonight because my laptop is insane.
It is,
and I just can't even put that screen up.
And I've been trying to run a show here.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. But hey, you do it, so maybe.
Well, I've got a decade and a half's practice at it, so it takes a little bit of effort. But it sounded like you guys were having fun during Anarchapulco on the Wednesday shows.
We did. Yeah. We did.
Sound like you had some good rapport with Vincent and Jay and Will.
Yeah, everybody's great to do shows with. We were not having as much fun as you were in Acapulco.
It was a lot of work, honestly.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
And those things always are. I mean, even if it's the smaller events that we go to here in New Hampshire, cryptocurrency related usually.
Or Forkfest, Forkfest.party.
Forkfest.party, that's coming up.
The
Check
new
it out.
sponsor of Porkfest, by the way. I don't know if that's been made public yet, but...
What's that?
Forkfest.
Forkfest
is now sponsoring Porkfest.
That's too funny.
The VIP tent brought to you by Forkfest.party.
I love it. There's a bit of an inside joke there, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But hey, maybe David from New Hampshire would like to talk about that. David, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Porkfest.party. It's going to be a party.
Nice.
Are you going to go this year, Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com?
Oh, I don't know yet. That's what, in June?
Yeah, June 13th through the 18th is the Forkfest dates, and then the Porcupine Freedom Festival follows it from the 18th through the something. I think it's like another 5 days, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we hope to see you.
Well,
it'd be great. It'd be great to have you up there.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Because
you're one of the originals, by the way. I'm sorry to interrupt. You're one of the original Porkfesters, right? Didn't you go to Porkfest 0?
No, I went to one of the ones, the first, well, actually, I went to one in 05. That would have been the second one.
Yeah,
that's pretty early, though. Nice. So what's on your mind, Dave?
Well, I was saying that things tend to happen in twos, and last night I was talking to you guys about, or either the previous host, about this guy who's refusing to use the police to solve a burglary that he's suffered. He's using social media.
I love this story. This is the gentleman it's about a snowmobile, right?
Right, some guy with a
that's
truck.
That's not what I'm calling to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah. So, some guy with a truck
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that someone else is now doing the same thing, sort of. I mean, a similar thing on a different subject, just coincidentally in Londonderry, New Hampshire.
Okay. What was stolen there?
This is not exactly the same thing. It's aimed at a different kind of crime.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like a reaction to school shootings without using the police. So the idea is, or without necessarily using the police. So the idea, they're calling it active shooter training at this place called Londonderry Fish and Game. And the idea is to train people how to respond average civilians to something like this, because the theory is that, well, the reality is that when one of these things happens, there's usually not a cop around. The people who just happen to be there are the first responders for the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Or they should be. I mean, they should be able to respond, but they're not trained, many of them, and they might be afraid. And so this is trying to help them get over those concerns. They've been trained to call the police and then, cower and wait. And then, of course, we find out that the police in a lot of cases show up and then cower and wait.
Yeah,
we've seen
they did down in Florida.
That's just the most recent, the Parkland shooting. That's the most recent example of it. But it goes all the way back to Columbine.
Oh, certainly.
All the way back. I mean, I remember.
That was the mantra back then was
officer safety.
Officer safety, and you contain the shooter.
Yep.
You keep them in one location until you have overwhelming force, then you go in. And what they learned in Columbine is while you were containing the shooter had no problem going throughout that high school and shooting people. So the modern, and I know this a little bit from time spent as like an emergency management director, when police respond now, when anyone responds, they are trained to go in immediately. You don't really contain the situation. You go straight in.
Well, they didn't do that in Parkland.
No, they did not. And that was one of the issues that they had with that. As the phrase goes, when seconds count, the police are only minutes away.
Yeah.
But they did not follow their own advice. So I'm happy to see this sort of thing happening. People, you are capable of defending other human lives. You have that in you, whether you wish to do so, whether you wish to put yourself at risk, at mortal risk. That's up to each person to decide. But I think these are skills that more people should have, not just the police. So people are not afraid to call their neighbors.
So, Dave, you're saying that there's actually a training class for folks on this?
Yeah, and it's at a gun. It's a gun range where they're having the training, and part of the training is gun training. So this is not one of these snowflake response type things.
Right.
This is the kind of thing that I think you could approve of.
Well, I approve of it. I think it's a great idea. Absolutely.
Decentralize all the things, in this case, emergency response.
Yeah.
And allowing people, and I think Cell 411 is a good tie-in with this. And longtime sponsor of the show, they had to pull out due to, I think, some budgetary issues because, well, there's no revenue model for Cell 411.
It's free.
Yeah, getcell411.com. The app's still great. It still works very, very well. It's a decentralized emergency response app, GPS-based. You pull it up when something's happening. Usually it's something bad that's happening to you that you want to let people know about. There's nothing in there for it's my birthday, so it's usually like a bad thing. Right. Maybe you're broken down, the car's broke down, you're having some sort of medical issue, the police are pulling you over. There's 8 or 9, maybe even half a dozen, more than a dozen different items that you can select, and all you have to do is just punch the screen, select the thing that you want. That'll then be blasted out to your other friends that have Cell 411, and you can also record live video and stream that live video out to your friends so they can watch, so they can see what's happening to you almost instantaneously.
Have a witness.
Which is amazing. I mean, the technology there is so incredible. It's so accessible now. There's, again, you don't have to pay a fee to use this program.
Right.
You don't have to pay a fee to stream out the video. I mean, it's thanks to Virgil Baduva, basically, for funding this out of his own pocket, and it's a great program. I recommend it highly. And get cell411.com. That could, in combination with what Ridley here is talking about, what Dave is talking about in New Hampshire, Cell 411, and notice kind of, hello, heads up, this is happening, could be seen by those people that have the gun training that are in the area. If it were more used, it has to get more users in order for it to be more useful, and then they could respond much faster than the police can. But
how many people does it really take? I mean, it seems like on the supply side of services, there are a lot of people that are willing to do this, and that's where I think Cell 411 has the potential to grow. So I guess what I'm saying is if you reach a critical mass, if you say that there are 50 people who have gone through this gun training course, and they're within minutes away from this particular high school or grade school or whatever school it is, then that is certainly a selling point to regular people like teachers and things like that who wish to augment their protection other than relying on the state. And like I said, when minutes count, the police are only minutes away. Dave Ridley, thank you so much
Dave.
for the call. We'll be back, and we're going to be talking about a few other things here, but we appreciate it. You give us a call back at 855-450-4733.
3733. Close.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and we are anxious to hear from you. You can call us on our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And in studio, it's myself, Chris.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And we've been all over the board, as we are all the time. We always bring in a couple topics to talk about. The first thing we talked about, God, refresh my memory. What was our first? I got so involved in the second. Oh, it was AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm just so used to saying AOC.
And the Amazon situation in New York. That's what that one was.
Yes, she was, in her mind, very successful at keeping those evil jobs out of New York. And a lot of people were not happy with her, and a lot of people put in a lot of money to buy a billboard on Times Square exercising their freedom of speech.
Yeah, and then we talked about this hand jobs business, which is a nail salon that is trying to open its doors or was just opened or something like that in Ohio.
Yes. And
the uproar by some people over the name of the business, and others saying that this is fun. It's just it's a little tacky, but it's funny tacky. It's
right.
It's a little tasteless, but that's okay. It's all right. It's her business. She should be able to call it whatever she wants, and it is memorable, and it's definitely getting a lot of press. But I think it's important to point out that there really isn't much of a fundamental difference here between these two stories. Amazon is about a $2.5 billion facility, and Handjobs Nail Salon is about a $200,000 facility, or however much it costs to have whatever location it is that she's in some little town in Ohio. So you're dealing with the largest city in the most empirist of states in the case of the Amazon situation, driving Amazon out. The city government bureaucrats, the state bureaucrats driving Amazon out of what their intended plan was to locate this. What was it? A distribution center or something like that? Or headquarters?
Second headquarters
in New York. And that's going to drive away jobs. It's going to drive away business. And that's what the signage in Times Square was pointing out.
Right.
But the same story is happening in Ohio. It's just on a different scale.
Right.
You already have, in this case, the business has opened, or at least that's the way it appears from the news coverage, the very limited news coverage that we've been able to see about the story.
Right.
Her sign is up, and now you've got bureaucrats coming after her, threatening her, saying the sign is probably going to have to come down, et cetera, et cetera. It could be considered offensive. And this lady could very well be driven out of, what was it, Peabody or Perkins?
Perkins Township.
Which is
part of Sandusky.
Right. She may just decide, you know what? Perkins wasn't right for this place. These people are too uppity. They're too prudish.
Right.
They don't have a sense of humor.
Take my jobs elsewhere.
And so I'm just going to pack up and move to, the next city over, or the next town over, or whatever, whichever town is going to be welcoming to having a business.
Right.
Because it's the same exact thing. If you keep restricting business people's freedoms, you're going to drive them out. Most of them will put up with some level of restriction. They'll put up with some regulations. They'll put up with some taxes. But everybody's got their point at which it's their breaking point, and they're going to say, screw this, I've had it, I'm moving.
And so far, the only thing we've found are at least one post that was saying that it was offensive on social media. Though everybody reports that the vast majority have been very supportive.
Sure.
Other small businesses have been very supportive. But it is, in the end, and this is how these stories usually work, it comes down to one bureaucrat, Megan Sherland, who is the Parkins Township zoning director. And in the corollaries between this and the Pho restaurant here in town.
You mean Pho? Keen, great.
Mm-hmm. Are striking. I mean, now I'm looking at the Ohio State Cosmetology and Barber Board, who issued a license to Dawn Moon to open her beauty salon. So you have one set of bureaucrats saying absolutely no problem. What is the name listed on this Ohio State Cosmetology and Barber Board? Hand jobs, nail, and spa.
Yeah, so
you have one part of government saying,
okay,
obviously we don't have a problem.
Money. We'll take your money.
Yeah, because here we've got signatures, from the chairman, the executive director, for public display in licensed business.
Well, I mean, the state bureaucrats don't have the same level of accountability as the local bureaucrats. The local town council members or zoning board advisors, they are more likely to be closer to the people. And so, just to take it from her perspective, the woman who is on the zoning board, Megan, I think it was her name.
Sherland.
To take it from her perspective, look, Chris, she's just trying to honor what the community is telling her, and there's some people who are offended here, and so as long as one person's offended, shouldn't that business be prohibited from having an offensive name?
These days, yes, because that's what it is. It is, they don't respect the rights of the minority, but they sure as hell respect the loudness of a minority. If people get up in arms and start yelling, even if it's, and this is usually the way this comes out, it's 2 or 3 people. It's 4 or 5 people. Some Sunday school teacher who got really offended. I'm going to go home and I'm going to call Megan I'm going to get Megan Sherland on the phone, and she'll put an end to this. We can't have our children subjected to 2 words that they don't even know why there's a big deal.
So libertarian types, voluntarists, people who care about freedom, they would like to see, I think ideally, a world where there are no government regulations on business. And, of course, people, when they hear that, they're like, you just want pollution. You want evil corporations destroying the land and the people. And no. I mean, what we want is for people to be held liable for their actions. So if you're polluting somebody's property, you should be able to be held liable for that and have to unpollute it as much as possible, or shell out some big payments to the victims in that case. So just to say we don't want government regulation doesn't mean that we don't want to see the marketplace regulate things, which leads to the question of, well, how would this situation play out in a supposed free market?
Right.
This sort of mythological thing that we don't have, that many of us would like to have, where there's not some zoning board, some bureaucrats that you have to go to beg permission for a sign or to even open your doors in the first place. And in a lot of places, that's what people have to do in order to avoid men with guns calling themselves the government coming in and shutting them down. So how does the prude, the person who cannot, has no sense of humor, is offended by the name Handjobs Nail Salon, how can a prude have the world they want to live in if they're surrounded by people who have a good sense of humor and think that's funny or are supportive of it?
Well, my first reaction to that would be people that are prude and have no sense of humor, and they're surrounded by a whole bunch of people with sense of humors, then I think I would want to move there, because I like to think I have a good sense of humor.
Okay.
And I found the story funny as heck because I think it's funny.
So is the answer then the prude should leave?
It's up to the prude. That to me is what they want to do. They can either learn to not be offended by everything they see.
But they're children, Chris. I mean, it's all about the children, right? They may understand, ha, ha, it's funny, but they're trying to protect their kids from seeing things that evoke thoughts of sexuality.
Oh, my gosh. Then I would suggest to those people that they are going to be much happier somewhere else. You know, and it's not saying we're going to throw them out. I wouldn't throw them out. You know, they want to be good neighbors. That's great. But there's a responsibility in a free society, and we live with that every day. We live in a country that supposedly started out with the ideals that we're going to protect people's rights, and part of that is protecting freedom of speech and freedom of thought and freedom of religion and all these things. And if you are offended by those, then that is a risk that comes with a free society, that you are going to be exposed to things that you don't approve of. I'm sorry. These are just I hate to come across that way. And some people will say, well, that's cold and callous, and that's not taking into consideration what children may see. But if it were really flagrant, if Handjob's Nail Salon decides to take this beyond the joke and put something very graphic, I don't think they get much business.
No, it would change how people approach that for sure.
It would, and I don't think they get much business at all. 855-450-FREE. We want to hear from you. This is Free Talk Live. This is Free Talk Live. You can reach us. You can take part in the conversation we're having by calling 855-450-FREE. That's toll free, 855-450-3733. And I wanted to give a little shout out.
Oh, yeah?
Adam O. I think that's how he says his handle, but he is a platinum amplifier.
Wow. $25 a month.
$25 a month to help support Free Talk Live's mission of spreading the ideas of liberty every day to people like you. We do that by through advertising, through marketing, and promoting the show. If you would like to help out, if you feel that what we do is important, and if you feel that a lot of people you know might not completely understand what liberty means, what freedom means, we'll do our best for them. You can find out more at amp.freetalklive.com. And again, we've been discussing core libertarian ideals tonight. We were talking about this business in Sandusky, Ohio, that would like to have their name of the nail salon be what they've chosen it to be, what they've probably spent. They've obviously spent money on filing fees, and they've put a business plan together.
They made a sign.
It's
up.
It is up, and the name of the business is Handjobs Nails and Spa. And they're getting some...
There's not a comma in there, by the way.
No, there is not.
Yes.
There's a pause.
Handjobs, nails, and spa.
A pause that I'm used from other stories like this, used to inserting pauses.
So those aren't three different items that they offer necessarily.
No.
Handjobs is the sort of the main title, and then nails and spa.
Nails and spa underneath that. Right. But as we've dealt with other stories that do require pauses when we discuss them on the radio, then I'm just kind of used to that. But right now I want to go to David in New Mexico. Bear with me for just a second. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, David.
Hello.
No, hey, no hand jobs. I suppose Boom Boom's out of the question then, huh?
I think if you would like to get your nails done, this would be a good place. Get a little mani-pedi, David. That would probably be nice,
well,
right?
Hey,
nice and relaxing.
Well, in Thailand, at the barber shops,
I'm not
salons,
sure. Is this a story you can tell?
Yeah,
okay.
I can tell it. I saw all about it on YouTube.
Okay, then we can probably leave it at that.
So, well, anyway, just look at YouTube for Thailand and barbershops and salon and massage, and you'll find.
I'm just not going to go there. I'm concerned because I've been Googling stories about Handjobs, Nails, and Spa, and I'm afraid of what my spam folder is going to look like once the spammers get a hold of my web searches. So you wanted to talk a little bit about correcting Sarah. What did Sarah say that was not correct?
But first of all, you probably don't need to look at your spam folder. Google will probably push ads to you for hand jobs now.
I have no doubt, so I can get my nails done. So what did Sarah say that you feel she needs corrected on? We can think of many things, but let's hear your thoughts.
Well, yeah, let me clarify that. And first, let me say that I've had a list for several weeks that I wanted to share with you, and Sarah's thing was just one of the items on there. But the sum of all the items I had on that one list basically encompasses your last hour of radio. But regarding Sarah, it's not 6 sheriffs in New Mexico that are against the gun laws that are being proposed. It's 29, and there are 33 there are 33 counties in the state of New Mexico. And there are 29, and it's not just the sheriffs independently. There's the sheriff's organization or sheriff's association. New Mexico Sheriff's Association has come out against these gun laws. In fact, all of 29 of these sheriffs and other law enforcement went up to the roundhouse. The legislature is in session right now, and they went up to the roundhouse a week or so ago, and the roundhouse would not let them in. They would not let them in because the sheriffs were carrying guns.
Oh, and you can't have that.
And guns have always been allowed open carry or concealed in the roundhouse.
Really?
And they made some rule change. They made some rule change apparently, and now not only are guns not allowed in there apparently, they're not even allowing law enforcement in that are packing heat.
Interesting. And, so same sort of thing happened in New Hampshire. I assume that maybe
they're not keeping the cops out of the state house.
No, but they did change house rules in the New Hampshire State House, saying that legislators are no longer allowed to concealed carry or to have a weapon inside the state house. So I know a few state reps here in New Hampshire that have basically said, okay, that's a hill I'm fine dying on, so I'm going to just keep concealed carrying. Tell me I'm not. How are you going to enforce that?
Well, they would have to put men with guns and metal detectors at the entrance.
Absolutely. So I don't know where that story is exactly, but we had sort of the same thing. Did the roundhouse, that's what you call it,
state capitol,
did they undergo a shift in political leanings this last election? Did it go red to blue or something?
It's been blue though, hasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, well, no, New Mexico has historically been basically blue, but it has been actually a swing state. However, this last election, it's 100%. There are no Republicans holding statewide office or national office anywhere in New Mexico. It's completely Democrats.
Wow.
And from governor on down, and that's why they're running through every bit of legislation that they want to run through because there's nobody to stop them.
Right.
And so that's why the sheriffs have come out against it, and it goes beyond the sheriffs. So where Sarah got the number 6 is there are six of the counties, and they will all continue to fall like dominoes or follow like dominoes. So far, 6 of the county commissions have backed up their sheriffs by the county commissions have voted to make their to follow the left in making sanctuary cities and sanctuary counties and sanctuary states. Mm-hmm. They have voted to make their counties sanctuary counties for the Second Amendment.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Where they are not.
We ought to have more sanctuary everything. Let's just have sanctuary Second Amendment, sanctuary immigration, sanctuary drug use, sanctuary whatever you want to call it, sanctuary or nullification. The more we can push back against the centralized governments out there, the better. Whether it be the state government or whether it be the federal government, as long as it's pushing back in the favor of freedom. Because what I don't want to see is localities having the home rule ability to create more government in their area. And thankfully, we don't have that here, supposedly in New Hampshire.
Indeed, David. Thank you so much for your call. And that's good to see. I hear the same thing out of Washington State. So Washington State enacted a ton of new gun laws. And you've got a number of sheriffs that are said, we're not enforcing them.
Excellent.
And good for you. That's what you need to do. That is called nullification.
But wait a minute, Chris, doesn't that mean there's no rule of law?
Oh, dear. No, that means common sense becomes the rule of law. And,
well, let's talk about that some more.
Yeah,
that's do interesting.
855-450-3733. Give us a call, and we'll talk. Free Talk Live.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeen.com. Freekeen.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. Freekeen.com also has comment and discussion forums so you can be heard. Freekeen.com.
This is Free Talk Live. And we're in our third hour. We've been talking about liberty, and we're going to keep talking about liberty, and we want you to talk about liberty. We at least want you to think about liberty and what that means to you, and it means to your neighbors. And if you have any question about whether we should be talking about liberty or whether we need to talk about liberty, look at Washington. Look at your local governments. Look at your state governments. And
do I have to?
Just imagine, could we possibly come up with a better solution? I think we can. And it's pretty much by doing away with all those things. But I also want to tell you about shop.freetalklive.com. It's kind of an interesting idea, but there's other ways to support the show and support what we do. We talked earlier about the AMP program, which stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote, where people donate a certain amount of money every month, and they get all sorts of little benefits and things like that. But you can help us out in spreading the ideas of liberty just by going to shop.freetalklive.com. And clicking on the links that are there. What all do we have up there? Walmart's up there?
Yeah, we used to have Amazon, but they kicked us out.
Yeah, they got kind of cranky.
Now you can do the other mega corporation. We'll get a cut, a small cut of that will be directed towards Free Talk Live at shop.freetalklive.com. You know, Chris, I wanted to focus a little bit more on the hypocrisy of these conservatives, because you just brought up an interest, or actually it wasn't you, but it was David in New Mexico, brought up the story about these sheriffs who are refusing to enforce certain gun laws that were passed in New Mexico recently.
Yes.
And you gave another example of some other sheriffs elsewhere.
Also happened in Washington State.
Yeah, that did something similar. Some what they consider to be unconstitutional gun laws were passed, and the sheriffs are saying, nope, we're not going to enforce that. And I think that's great. I just want to be clear. I support them in making that decision. I also supported the sheriffs who made the decision to institute the sanctuary counties or sanctuaries,
supported sanctuary cities
for immigrants.
Just made it so. And what this idea is, this crazy lunatic idea that we're coming up with, first of all, we didn't come up with it. The first major effort in the United States was done by James Madison. You may have heard of him, Thomas Jefferson. So way back in the day, there were a couple laws that got passed by President Adams, and they were called the Aliens and Sedition Acts. And what these did was say that you cannot do business with anyone French because they are bad guys. We don't like them. We're at war with them. So if you open your house to a Frenchman, then you can go to jail. And the Sedition Act was acting seditiously against the government. And basically what that law said was, if you dare, Ian, say something bad about our president, you can go to jail.
They have that in Thailand right now, I think.
Yes, they do.
I think it might be the death penalty.
Yeah.
At the very least, prison.
It was interesting that Adams said it's okay to say bad things about the vice president, Thomas Jefferson, but you can't say bad things about me. And that got taken to court because someone accused John Adams of being rotund. He was kind of hefty guy. So what did people do? Jefferson and Madison took this to a couple states that were interested in coming up with saying something stronger. And they wrote basically the Kentucky and Virginia resolutions that promoted this idea of nullification. And Jefferson argued that we had a moral obligation not to follow, not to enforce laws that are immoral.
Good people disobey bad laws.
Yes, and
I think that's
what
the truth.
they were saying.
Yeah.
That's what
But
they
there
were
are
saying.
so many people who are enamored with the idea of this rule of law.
Yes.
Many of the very same conservatives who would be supporting these sheriffs for going against these bad gun laws are likely the same people who also were against the sheriffs who were nullifying the federal government.
Absolutely.
In the case of these immigration laws. So you can't have it both ways.
Right.
Okay?
If you believe in liberty, if you truly believe in the idea of liberty,
which they probably don't. But, if you believe in liberty, you certainly shouldn't have it both ways.
Right.
But even if you want your own freedom, you don't have to believe in the liberty of others. You'll get there, hopefully, someday. But for now, if you want your own freedom, you still have to be consistent in your application of this concept.
Right.
If the concept is that sheriff ought to be able to disobey those laws.
Right.
Well, the sheriff ought to be able to disobey any laws that they think are unconstitutional. That should be one of the checks and balances against an out-of-control government, is a sheriff who actually understands the document he swore to uphold.
And Jefferson and Madison certainly understood that. When they said you're going to face bad laws, laws that are just immoral, and here's what you do. They laid it out for us crystal clear. They put them into writing. They encourage state legislatures to push these things in Washington. We're not going to do it. You can tell us whatever you want. You can pass any kind of crazy law, but guess what? We're not going to follow it. So there you go.
Right. What are you going to do about it?
If you have no enforcement, sorry.
Right. What are you going to do about it? If they don't follow it, are you going to go around and round the sheriffs up and throw them in jail? Well, then what?
Right.
Because presumably other people also don't want to enforce those laws. That's why the sheriffs feel comfortable doing that, right? Because if the sheriffs didn't think that this would be a politically popular move, they probably wouldn't do it in their area. So to some extent, the input of the community does weigh into some play on what these people are doing. They feel like it's a politically safe move. They feel like they can get re-election when they do this. And so I mean, I find politics to be despicable, no doubt about it. And one of the things that I think to be the most despicable is hypocrisy. And these people at all levels in government have it. Right. So I want to hear from the conservatives who actually will be consistent and support the sheriffs who are also refusing to enforce the immigration laws. And I bet it's very hard to find one of those people.
Yeah, and I hope that there's at least that test case, that sheriff who is supporting sanctuary gun areas where we're not going to enforce your laws, and sanctuary for immigration.
Yeah,
we're not going to enforce those. Yeah, I'd like to come across that.
Whoever that sheriff is, he'd be worth talking to.
Please call in at 855-450-FREE if you are that sheriff.
But even then, there's still not the ideal. There's no sheriff out there that actually is consistent with applying this concept. Right. The gun thing has crossed a line for some of these guys, and that's good. I'm not, I'm not trying to badmouth them for doing this one thing right. Okay, that's good. You're doing the right thing in that particular case. But if at the same time you're also going around arresting people for having a plant, or arresting people for having a chemical in their pocket, or arresting a teenager for having a bottle of alcohol or something like that, one of these nonviolent, victimless crimes, you are also in the wrong. And I'd love to see a sheriff be like, nope, just to look at every single law that the government passes or is demanding that he enforce and say, let's see, murder, check. Let's see, rape, check. Arson, check. Yep, we're going to investigate those. Yep. Property destruction, check. What else? Let's see, we're going to investigate theft. We're going to investigate breakings and enterings. Just got to go, wait, drug laws? No, we're not going to spend our time on that.
Don't need to waste our time.
Peaceful immigrants? Nope, we're not going to spend our time on that. Enforcing gun laws? Nope, not going to spend our time on that. That's what I want to see happen. That's what I want to see. If we're going to have a one-size-fits-all government, if we're going to have a state, which I don't want to see, but if we're going to have it, God, it sure would be nice to have somebody with some consistent principles in one of these roles.
Right.
Because they could make a big difference.
Yeah, and how much less expensive would it be to operate a government? How much less intrusive would it be?
Yeah, a lot less.
And in the meantime, the things that really do matter, as far as law enforcement goes, that to me is protecting people's lives and protecting property rights. If they are doing that, they are doing everything I expect them to do. What I don't expect them to do is bust a teenager with a roach in his ashtray. That's kind of silly. We have one more segment coming up. I hope to hear from you. You can reach us at 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live. This is Free Talk Live. And we've got a little bit of time left. We're going to be here. You're there. Why don't you give us a call at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for you to call, Ian, you have a story.
I do, but I do want to let you know about the new video clips that we have as well at clips.freetalklive.com, which we just kind of brought back within the last couple of weeks. It was something that Eric Freerock, who was one of the Cop Block guys back in the day, that he used to do for us. And it wasn't something he did for us. Like, we never asked him to. He just kind of started making clips of Free Talk Live and putting them on his own YouTube channel called Liberty Bits. And, you know, it's hard to make money doing libertarian talk radio clips, let alone doing the talk radio show. And so at some point he, got burned out and gave up on it. So we decided, we've got a little bit of AMP money. We don't have a lot, but we got a little bit of AMP money. So because we've been like doing a few different things with the AMP money, like we sponsored the Sovereign Tech podcast this year, and we sponsored Johnny Rocket's podcast as well. So trying to seed out some of the AMP money into the Liberty community.
Right.
And another way we can do that is by bringing Eric Freerock out of retirement. And he's willing to work cheap because he must like the work of editing video.
I think he does, because
he's cranking out like a few videos per day.
It's like every day I wake up and I'm like, there's another one.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so he's taking highlights of the show. He's making videos. He's actually adding in graphics too on these many of these videos. So that takes even extra work. So it's not just here. Let's just point A, point B of this video, chop this out, and make a video of it. He's actually doing some extra work to kind of jazz it up and make it more visually interesting than just the two of us sitting here and talking.
They do. They look really good. I mean, the basic format is he starts out with like a clip that sort of puts you in mind. That's all shot. That's like a black and white feed, and then he goes back right into the episode, and it's really interesting. Of course, I always look for the ones that I'm in. I got something to. Well, it's fun to be able to share those with my friends.
With your friends, that's a good point. Yeah, right. And so you can share them with your friends and family members, because it's hard to share a 2-hour-long podcast. That's not as easy to just drop in somebody's lap. But if there's a specific issue that your one friend is concerned with, or your family member is concerned with, or they're interested in, you can send that clip to them, and then they can hear our discussion about that.
Yep.
There's a little tag at the end that are going to go into the new videos coming out as of, I think, today, that'll advertise Free Talk Live for like 10 seconds, so people can click over and watch the full show or listen to the full show, maybe subscribe. Maybe we'll get a few more listeners from this. I don't know. That's the idea, is to make it easier to share some of your favorite moments from Free Talk Live episodes. So thank you to Eric Freerock for doing that for us. And thank you to you if you are actually subscribing over at clips.freetalklive.com. You can hit the subscribe button on YouTube and follow it that way. Or you can also follow our social media, not all of it, because I don't know what's happening on Facebook. I can't speak to that. But it's on Twitter at twitter.freetalklive.com. So updates whenever these videos come up to YouTube, a link goes on Twitter.
Yep.
It also, that same link goes on to our Mastodon over at toot.freetalklive.com. It's toot.freetalklive.com. Mastodon's like a decentralized version of Twitter. I think it's a lot better, in my opinion, but it's newer, so it needs a little bit of time to get seasoned and grow. And then also our Telegram channel. There's a Free Talk Live Telegram channel, which is at telegram.freetalklive.com. So each of these video clips is being posted to all of those locations. So if you're following us in one of those 4 ways, YouTube, Telegram, Twitter, and Mastodon, then you will be seeing these clips being posted. It'll be easy for them to be easily shared by you.
Yeah, the feedback so far has been great. And Eric is a great guy.
He is.
I mean, I really like that guy. And it was interesting. We had a visitor this last summer. Who am I thinking of?
I have no idea.
The gentleman who does...
Oh, the blind gentleman, Riley.
Yes.
He does our Daily Digest.
Yeah, so Riley Blake does our Daily Digest, which is a condensed version of the show, and he does this tirelessly, and I donate a little bit of money to him, and I know other people do too, but he does.
He can't do video editing, though, as good as he is.
He's not as good with the video editing. But he said he was coming out to New Hampshire, and I'm like, well, that's really cool. We'll have to get together. Is there anything you really want to do? And he's like, I'd love to learn how to shoot.
A gun, not a camera. Like an actual gun.
Oh, like a gun. I'd really like to shoot an AR-15. I'm like, okay. Most people would say that a prerequisite is to have functioning eyeballs to do that.
Why? No, that's not true. As long as you got a range and nobody's on the range, you're fine.
The bullet's gonna go somewhere, but to do it safely, we want to make sure we know where it's going. And part of that was Riley, being a really good student.
He, at the very least, if you're blind, and obviously I don't know what it's like to be blind, thank goodness, but if you're blind, you can certainly feel the heft of the gun. You can know whether or not the gun is generally pointed downrange. You can tell if you're pointing it upwards, right? Like, so it's not like he's going to accidentally shoot it. It's not like he's going to accidentally shoot it into the sky.
Well, it was good learning experience for us too. But Eric,
wait, did you take him or did Matt Roach? I thought Matt Roach took him shooting.
No, I took him.
Oh, you did. Okay.
But I took him to Eric Freerock's place because he's got a nice little piece of ground that it was really good to use.
I was confusing what you did with what Matt Roach, who's one of our folks here in the area, also a big gun guy.
Yeah.
He took a couple of Free Talk Live listeners who'd come to the area. That's what it was.
Nice.
A couple different listeners who'd come. Yeah.
But it was
from California. They never shot a gun before, so it was like, oh my God, we can fire a gun here in New Hampshire.
Believe it or not,
we can touch a gun in New Hampshire.
And it holds how many rounds? Anything over 10 in California, and you're going to jail.
Yeah, prison probably.
Yeah, but it was a really interesting experience, and it was always great to talk to Riley anyway. But just the experience of how do you instruct a blind shooter and how to fire, and we talked about it. There are certainly ways that he could defend himself, too.
There have been situations, I think, in the past. I recall a story about a blind man defending himself in his home just using his auditory functions. You hear where that criminal is, and you point at that general direction and just start firing. And, your door's probably only made of wood, so it's probably going to go right through it. And take care of them. Speaking of guns, the AP is reporting on a Coast Guard lieutenant who was arrested recently as a domestic terrorist.
I saw this headline.
Who's drafted an email discussing biological attacks and had what appeared to be a hit list that included prominent Democrats and media figures, say prosecutors. Christopher Paul Hassan is due to appear Thursday, that's today, in federal court in Maryland after his arrest on gun and drug offenses. But prosecutors say those charges are the, quote, proverbial tip of the iceberg. Quote, the defendant is a domestic terrorist bent on committing acts dangerous to human life that are intended to affect governmental conduct, say prosecutors in their court papers. He works at the Coast Guard's headquarters and, they say, has espoused extremist views for years. He drafted an email in 2017 saying he was, quote, dreaming of a way to kill almost every last person on the earth. Pondering how he might be able to acquire anthrax and toxins to create botulism or a deadly influenza.
Okay, so we're not just talking about I'm kind of irate with our government and I'm really disappointed the Democrats got in power.
Yeah, we're talking a total psychopath.
Yeah.
And works for the government. Remember Timothy McVeigh?
Right.
Wasn't he like a Marine or in the military or something like that, right? Here's another one. And then you got that, remember the cop out in California that shot up other cops?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of these cases with the psycho murderer, mass murderer individuals, a lot of these guys are government trained.
A disturbingly large number. And if you look at just
like
things
the ones that are real. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but think about all the fake out FBI we found a terrorist. Oh, no, you created the terrorist, but with some kid that you found on the internet who was kind of mad about something.
Right.
And so you ginned up this kid to be angrier, and you gave him weapons, and you gave him ideas, and you did everything for him. This guy, you don't have the FBI saying they set this dude up. This dude is just a genuine nut job. And he works for the government.
Right. And in the Coast Guard. So I'm really curious, and I haven't done enough research into it, but did this guy have a security clearance? You know, if
he was at headquarters.
Yeah, if you're at headquarters with any branch of the government,
so
even
he wasn't
Coast
just
Guard,
out on a boat. He wasn't floating out,
Right. What did he have?
Boarding boats. He's at the offices, the headquarters.
How does this guy not get noticed? And if you think that's funny, you'd be amazed at how many people trust police officers every day, despite the fact that they are highly likely to abuse their spouses. One of those laws that they, are going to foist onto anybody else they come across, but often not themselves.
Guess what else? He also identified himself as a white nationalist, they say, for over 30 years. So apparently it wasn't much of a secret.
I don't know. He, on the one hand, and being in the military, you would probably really have to keep that really quiet for you to get by for that long. Because the armed forces, I mean, it's all mixed up. You have people of all walks of life. I don't know. But we're out of time. Thanks for joining us here on Free Talk Live. We want to hear from you next time. 8:55. Why do I always have this
I used to do it a lot, too.
Right.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks. Have a great night.
It's Free Talk Live, and we are on day number 4 now of Anarchapulco, and it's been a great event so far. And I finally have Mark with me here for the first time today.
Yeah, it's been a hectic day. I emceed the Cryptopulco room. Jeff Berwick was the final speaker in the Cryptopulco room, and to say standing room only is to minimize what occurred in that room.
Wow.
I mean, it was incredible. I introduced him as the notorious Berwick, and the room came down.
Wow.
You can say whatever you want to say about Jeff Berwick. These people are here to see him. He can move a crowd.
He really can, and he can throw a good event, even though he actually didn't have to do much. He just found the right organizer.
That is throwing a good event.
Yeah,
that counts.
And they did a great job this year, and we did have a nice little interview with him on our radio show, which we recorded yesterday. So anyway, we're to the point where we're doing bonus interviews here that are being heard in the podcast, and people
do these just for the listener.
Right, people just coming up here and talking to us and like, hey, let's get you on the radio, or in this case, on our podcast. And Barnaby Anderson is with us here from blockalchemy.io. Barnaby, you are a well-known speaker, I guess, in the blockchain world. They invited you to Davos, and that's some fancy big money seminar or something, right?
Yeah, it sure is. It was actually the first time I ever saw snow as well, over in Switzerland. So
no way.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Where are you from?
I've been traveling the world constantly just avoiding winter, so I just make sure I don't go anywhere near the cold.
Your accent sounds like you're from the UK, but where are you from?
I was born in Sydney, Australia.
Ah.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah,
okay.
crikey.
Okay.
But I made sure I left there about 6 years ago.
No snow down in Sydney, huh?
I never saw any.
Okay,
no.
gotcha. So you are a crypto guy. Tell us, what led you into cryptocurrency?
Well, I started exploring it back technologically, I think, 2011, 2012. Mm-hmm. And so I've got a background in technology for about the last 25 years as an entrepreneur, building out, I've run web dev teams and web hosting and domain names and you name it, app development. Sure. But really close to my heart was always the whole ethos of being free in the world. And so I was looking at it from like, wow, what's this new currency? It's going to be cool. But I didn't understand the economics of it until about 2016. And that's when I really jumped in and I pivoted my whole business over into cryptocurrency from 2016, 2017. And so that's why I just started speaking about it, pulling teams together, building out projects. So I saw the potential. What really got me excited was, wow, here we actually can make that change in the world for people coming together and running a currency. That's never been possible before.
Nope, it's always been governments and banks.
Exactly. So that was really what got me super excited about it, was the potential for that. And then because I'm a usability guy, like I'm all about making things super easy. Like there's no point in developing an app or a website or an e-commerce system if people can't find the buy button or just do something really easily. So usability is really key, and this is still way too complicated. Nobody really understands, or very few people understand this. Like I'm extremely technical. It took me 4 months to buy my first Bitcoin. It was that hard to do it every day, just about for 4 months. Wow. Because I'm a digital nomad. Like I've had 2 bags for the last 6 years with no fixed address anywhere in the world. I just go wherever I want, avoiding winter and the cold. And so I don't know. I didn't have a like one of those when they ask your electricity utility bill and a bank statement, because I only had like my company set up in places. I made sure nothing was in my name, so I made sure that nothing was in my. Yeah,
so you couldn't prove who you were.
No, the KYC. They need that wherever you go. So
know your customer.
If you have so if you don't have any like KYC, know your customer, then they're not going to let you buy crypto. So I had to use my Photoshop skills, just to be able to get in there.
Did you really?
Of course. How else can you get in there if you have no fixed address?
It sounds like these two bags of yours that you don't have any long pants in them. If you're pathologically avoiding winter the way you are.
No, I made sure I was got a backup pair of long pants, yeah. But mostly shorts.
All right, so you've been traveling the world and speaking. Like, where did you, why did Davos invite you to speak of all the different crypto people?
Well, like, basically there were events there. We didn't actually I didn't just speak there. I actually helped put on an event. Like, they basically had a crypto event there, and it was a shambles. And so they told us on Friday. Davos started on Monday or Tuesday, and me and my partner, we just basically, they had like, I think 30 or 40 speakers, and so we just built the website, pulled the team together. So actually put together the whole event for everybody. But we weren't the coordinators of it. So why did they pick us? I think because they were really, to be quite honest, they were like, they're in a tough spot, basically. Mm-hmm. So they needed somebody to pull the whole thing together. And they said, well, you've done that. Like, you're an expert on crypto. Why don't you speak as well? And so that's how that happened. And so I was going to go there anyway. I was really curious about, who really is the elite? Who are these dark, nefarious characters? And so I thought, well, the only way to really find out is to literally go to the very heart of the matter. Where is Trump flying into? Where do they all collect every year? Oh, they do this in Davos. And so they tried to con me when I got there because, everything, as you know, in life is pretty much a scam. So when you go to Davos even, you're going to have all these people trying to sell you a $10,000 to $15,000 ticket. This little hotel badge that gets you into all the elite parties. That's where you want to go. You want to go and hang out with Trudeau and John Kerry, where they're all hanging out, walking past, and they go to these little elite parties. So I was in there, but if you don't have this hotel badge that they want to swindle you out of 10 to 15 grand for, you can't get in. But after a couple of days, you find out, hang on, these are just $50, these little hotel badges, but no one's going to give you one. So you have to figure out this strategy. So while I was there, it took me 2 or 3 days to actually figure out, because I had this sense, I was happy to pay the 10 grand if it was worth it. Mm-hmm. But I kept on asking them, what's really the benefit in this? And they couldn't give it to me. And so then I figured, and I just asked other people, and I said, no, I got mine for $50. And I was like, somebody kindly, I got in touch with Harvard, and Harvard basically sponsored me in there for the $50.
How did you find the person willing to sell it for $50? How did that happen?
Well, no, there are actually good people in the world, people who actually are, do have integrity. So they do exist. I'm one of them. Maybe I think you probably are one of them too. So there are people like that, even at Harvard, I guess. And so they just said, dude, like, this is the legit deal. There you go. Like, and it was I was staying in a little chalet in the snow, and so the guy who was running that chalet, he basically he was kind enough to say, I'll help you out with that, Barnaby. This is ridiculous.
So who'd you see at these parties?
Well, like all those super famous people, but they're not really very. Well, they didn't want to talk to me though, because they're pretty hoity-toity.
Right, why would they want to?
Exactly.
They wouldn't want to talk to me if I showed up at their party either.
No, especially with your green hair.
Right. Actually, the green hair, I gotta say, makes people want to talk to me for whatever reason.
But probably not John Kerry or Trudeau.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture of my phone of me, and my square family, and you'll be surprised. The hair actually came from doing a fundraiser for an orphanage in Jinji, Uganda. Which is the best reason to have green hair.
It is. Look, those politicians, they would want to talk to you, especially with that suit on that you're wearing in that photo.
Right. Maybe that's the only place in the world that somebody wants to talk to a guy in a suit, but I can tell you, having gone to a lot of conventions wearing a suit, people just avoid you like the plague.
There you go. Probably not at Davos. Pretty much most people were wearing suits.
Suits.
Yeah.
What's blockalchemy.io? What is that?
So it's my company where we basically put together blockchain projects. So I've got a team of people. Things have gone like in the last year with the bear market, like before that, like in 2017, actually even this year, the first half of this year, I was involved with running, pulling teams together for people to approach me and say, hey, we want to build a token around green energy, or we want to do one, different topics, like, we want to basically put the stock market on the blockchain and sort of thing. So I would assess what projects were, but the thing you really want to assess is people. So there's just been a lot of bad actors in this space. Mm-hmm. So basically, part of my job is when people pitch me, because I've got my team of programmers and developers. So what we do at Block Alchemy is literally, we start off with finding out the utility of the token. So basically, it's about pulling together. It's about a few things what we do, but one of them is we figure out the actual how to create a real use case for a technology for a token. Because a lot of the tokens that have been made, like I don't know how many, there's 4,000 or 5,000 at least of these tokens in the industry. Most of them are complete.
Sounds conservative.
Yeah, it's conservative. They usually list 2,000, but most of them are complete crap. Like really, I know we all know that.
Penny stocks.
Mm-hmm. Now, penny stocks. But so now, how many of them actually had like a real? How many of them did the team really think through the utility of how they'd be used by people? Again, the use case is really what this whole thing is about. And they didn't. And then on top of that, how many of them were nefarious people? How many of them actually were bad actors in the space? Just really, because I mean, some of my friends, they just made like $40 million in like a week. You can raise if you raised $40 million without some tech in a week in 2017. What are you going to do? Because there's no actual incentive.
Go to Davos and party.
You go to Davos and party, dude, and then you get in with all the big guys, and they pull you into that club,
right?
And you're sweet, I guess. Hey,
I guess.
Yeah. But what's your incentive for actually building out your tech now? Because you've already made it.
I can't think of any incentive. No,
because now you're golden, right?
I can think of the incentive to buy a yacht.
Now and so now when I'm saying no, I'm your business partner. Hey man, come over here. We got this. Let's hire some guys. Let's make some tech for the next 6 months. You hang out in this little dark room with me, and we'll make something. Do you want to do that? Now you got
no.
Okay, wow.
No.
What about those people who will put in like $100,000-$500,000 and to buy your ICO? Are you really into them? Probably. Maybe you've even forgot about them, eh?
No, yeah, I really don't have any.
Most of them you don't even know, right?
It was all anonymous.
No, and on all the like terms of agreements, it said this is high risk and all this sort of stuff, and you were in a security anyway. And I mean, but the feds have probably got you on their list anyway,
right.
So they're probably looking for you. So there you are on your boat trying to get away
with
from them.
$40 million. I can afford to hire a lawyer to take care of that.
Exactly, and maybe you'll even settle out of court and give them $5 million, something like that. Hey,
right?
Would you be willing to do that? Probably.
Perhaps if I want to come back to the United States.
Yeah, but you maybe don't really care about the States.
Right. John McAfee just left on his boat. He looks pretty comfy.
Maybe I'll just keep my $5 million and tell him to go pound sand and live in Panama.
Exactly. Well, so anyway, for me, I like to work with people on projects that are legitimate. So, so at the moment, it's not very many. I've got a couple of exciting projects we're working on. One is I'm really big on decentralization for content. So actually, what we're doing now is we're creating some content. A lot of people in the world probably wouldn't want people to hear this sort of stuff. So I'm all about freedom of speech, and so I'm working with some of the top podcasting guys at the moment. Do you know the guys from the Bad Crypto Boys?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So they've got a big following. They've got maybe almost 1 million people that they reach. And so,
but we love decentralization. I mean,
right?
But we've certainly heard about a lot of people being deplatformed these days.
There you go.
You're working on that?
Yeah, so that's one of the projects I'm really inspired about. Is basically I just talked to a guy before. He spent from 2006 to now. He was building up his Facebook reach to 350,000 people. I don't know if you ever. That's
impressive.
That's a hell of a lot of work, man. Like to build and then he built up his YouTube to 250,000. Well, Facebook just cancelled him.
Killed him.
Like that. Like boom, gone. 350,000 people. 10 years of your life building it up, gone. Right. So now he's still got his 250,000 people on YouTube, but for how long?
Yep.
So we do need to have something in this space where you have control over your audience. Like you guys have spent years building up the audience and the trust and all that. Mm-hmm. So what I'm interested in, I'm working with a team, we're looking at basically how to give you guys protection of your audience, and then where you could basically take that around, like, you can export them, all this sort of stuff. So, and then putting that actually onto a decentralized media platform, basically, like a hosting service. And one of the really amazing guys here, like Joby Weeks, he's got this incredible system. Like it's clear. It's called Clear. I can't remember the actual website, but basically they've got this server technology. It's decentralized, where you actually buy this little box and you keep it at home, and it links up with all the other servers, and basically all the content on the web is shared across basically in everybody's home. So this is how we can actually start to break away, build our own internet that they can't actually shut down. So there's some very cool tech that I've seen at this incredible conference that we're at. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Very cool. Barnaby Anderson, he is from blockalchemy.io. Anything else
Barney,
you want to share?
If somebody wants to follow what you're doing and those sorts of things, how do they figure that out?
Yeah, well, I'm on a lot of social media, but to be honest, I haven't been sharing that much lately. I've been just really focused on my work. So, but I mean, I'm on just my name, Barnaby Anderson with an S-U-N, like the sun shining in the sky. So that's me. They'll find me.
Because you don't like snow.
Exactly, I like the sun, dude. That's it, thanks. Otherwise, I'll become Barnaby Snow. Maybe I should do that. Hey, that's pretty but then they might link me with Snowden, hey? But that could be cool, too. Anyway,
that could be cool.
So, that could be cool. No, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, but you can look up Block Alchemy, so you'll see my talks there as well. So, yeah.
Thanks for joining us on
really
Free Talk
being
Live,
here.
Barnaby.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Enjoy
guys.
the rest of the day here at the beautiful Anarchapulco 2019.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.